Welcome back, everyone. It's Savage Sasquatch from GamingReportCard.com, and we are playing The Surge on Xbox One. This is the final battle, I believe. At least I hope it is, because I'm going into this loaded for bear. You previously saw me do this, and I struggled a bit on this boss. He looked a little insurmountable. We went and farmed up some more levels as we went and cleared out some areas. We upgraded our gear. If you look, our gear is basically all purple level now, which is pretty awesome. I wish I'd made it all the same set. I would have gotten an achievement for it, but oh well. We never found the 3 more pieces to level up our weapon, but we still hit pretty dang hard with it. So I want to show you guys the implants. This is a crazy build. I have changed a lot since you guys saw me last. When we were last going around, we were going like this high extra experience build or extra currency. So this is a tank build. We can go for, hopefully we can go for days in this with this build. So is what I'm going to show you. Okay, so I have 2 of these Endurance Enhancer version 5, which basically is giving us plus 98, yes, plus 98 stamina. More than doubles our stamina pool, meaning we can dodge for days, swing for days, like we don't have to stop. Previously, you guys saw me, a couple of the things you saw me have was this one, stamina consumption, and I realized it was only for evade moves. It's just better to have a whole another huge chunk of stamina, I think, than to be able to evade a little more frequently. I think we can evade as much as we want now. Also, you probably saw me, let me see, what else did we have equipped? We had some other bad choices equipped. There was one particular one that I misread or I misunderstood, and that was this one right here. I saw plus 100% energy gain, plus 100% stam regen. That's really good, except it's only while near death. We don't want to be near death, like hardly ever. So we dropped that. And the most surprising one is we dropped the one that lets us see our enemy's health bar. And while that seems a little counterintuitive, like it's great to know when your enemy's about to die, you know, I would rather just be able to keep going and going and going. So what did we take in its place? We have, let's see, we have 2 of these that give us plus 98 health, and then we have 2 of these that give us plus 60. So we're sitting on a health pool of 416, which is a massive upgrade. We basically would start at like 90 or 100 or something like that, and we're at 416. Stamina was more than double, like health is like quadruple. And then the other thing, this is a so I now can have 3 vital injections V5, which heals for 320. I've got 9 basically full heals, or pretty close to it. And honestly, my goal is for this to be an insurance policy. I don't know if this for sure is going to work. But by leveling up to 85, we freed up some more slots. This one right here, where is it? I can't find, there it is. Plus 9 core power, so we can actually go up to 98 core power. We're only using 95 of it, though. So, is what I took with this. 2 points for basically storing 30% energy. And I'll explain why that's so important later. This one right here gives us plus 47 energy, which basically brings us up to 95 energy. And then lastly we have, what is this? This is 30% energy gain. So every time we hit him, we gain 30% more energy than we did. So now we can get a huge amount of energy, and then because of this, every 28 energy we get, we can heal for 100, which is only a quarter of our health, but still, that's a lot of health to get back. And because of this right here, 30% minimum energy, we'll never drop below the ability to heal ourselves with one of those, if my math is right. So we're going to jump right into this. There is our boss. We may not be able to see when he's going to go down, but you know, we have all the stamina in the world, all the health in the world, and hopefully the ability to heal as much as we want. And here it goes. And we're just going to keep dodging. We're going to hit and dodge. Hit and dodge. Alright. The nice thing is we have so... Oh, that's not good. Oh, we missed. Good. Alright, we're going to have to use our first heal. I'm not getting the hits in I would like to. Oh, gosh. That was bad. Okay, and we're gonna go in for a swing there. We're gonna heal every time it's up because we do get some decay here. You know, that hit didn't even hit that hard.
This whole cabinet.
The way these having some kind of psychotic break.
Alright. We got one appendage left. Come on, big boy. I love being able to slide backwards like multiple times. Alright, this is the point. We can overload. Alright, the boss is now going to freak out.
This is a witch hunt.
God's meant to create, not destroy.
Alright, let's keep getting hits in on this guy. Oh, that hurts. I have a feeling our next hit is going to need to be, or our next heal is going to need to be a full one. Yep. I love my slide move if you guys haven't figured this out.
Close.
Alright. And see, like, we're not even dipping heavily into our consumables because we just keep being able to fill up with, we have to be careful. I mean, we can't... Ooh! We can't take hits indefinitely, but we can basically dodge indefinitely if we need to. You know what? We'll just go ahead and do a full heal there, just to be safe. This guy is having a hard time keeping up with us and our crazy stamina meter. Oh, let's execute this sucker. Get it done. You dead, son. Woo! Our build worked to perfection. Wow. Let's see what happens here. Alright, so this is Utopia is launching. We still don't know exactly what the nature of Utopia is. Well, that kind of would suck.
Creo's been dark for over 4 days now. Launches are continuing, but we've been unable to reach anyone inside the complex. I need you to take a team there, use drones and bots to do the exploratory work, but I want boots on the ground. I want a hardwire link established so we can view the feed as it happens, and get somebody up to low orbit. Our satellites there are picking up an unidentified particulate dispersal from the latest launch. It's inert so far, but it's completely different from their previous payloads. I want to know what it is.
Sounds like we were successful.
We're in position. Hardline established. We've sent in drone reconnaissance units as per procedure, but we lost contact with them shortly after insertion. Strike team is moving in now.
What the? Captain? Captain! I want another team in there right now.
The rogue process was what we just defeated.
See how they run. Is it free? Is it home? Let me get my ass out of here.
Okay. Alright, so we're still alive. I would hope so. How are you going to have a new game plus if you're not still alive? I am curious if our rig shuts down. We're basically handicapped. And we don't even have a wheelchair to get it out of here. Maybe we didn't live. Or maybe we did. Yep, we're going back to the wheelchair. I can see it off in the distance. So we did finish the game and corrupt the protocols. Alright guys, well that is the Surge. Alright, so back to our review. I had to skip forward to this part because the song that plays during the credits is copyrighted and we'll get a copyright claim on our video and all that fun YouTube stuff that most of you guys hopefully don't have any headaches about or know about, but anyway. So the Surge, it doesn't quite live up to Dark Souls pedigree, but it's still a solid game. It's a sci-fi take on it, and it feels like it's this odd world where nobody carries an actual real gun. Otherwise, the game wouldn't make any sense, but it takes place in the future, so I don't know why we don't have guns. Don't think too hard about this, guys. So anyway, the story is that you are joining Project Resolve, which is done by the company Creo, and basically you're going to be a worker in this big program that's supposed to change humanity and change mankind. Once you sign up, they literally drill the bolts into your body for you to be able to have a rig. You start out as a handicap, so you go through this really horrific experience, but once you have your rig, you can walk again. And so your character has like some level of, you know, he does get some level of benefit, although the company doesn't tell you that they're drilling literally into you to do this. So anyway, I don't want to rabbit trail too much about that, but basically you find out right from the beginning something is very wrong. There are dead bodies everywhere. Everybody else who's in a rig is basically trying to kill you, and as are all kinds of different robots and machines. Everything is going against you. Occasionally you'll find a survivor, and they'll give you a little quest or something, or tell you a little story. But by and large, you're alone in this world, especially when it comes to the combat. And the combat is very similar to Dark Souls, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. The story, ultimately, you kind of discover that this company, they've been creating something to help and change the future for mankind, but they've kind of lost control of it. They cut corners to save money and to save time, and they've also basically killed off their workforce, and you grow to learn that this is going to mean the eradication of mankind, or the vast majority of it, and it's your job to stop it. You end up finding scientists who give you a way to stop this, and eventually you come face to face with that giant beast that you just saw us fight. So, the story, it's a little rough. I mean, it's there. It's just really hard to care about anyone or anything in the game. You're just trying to survive. And really that's all Dark Souls ever was. There wasn't that much story to it. So I'll forgive the story pretty handily for not having this incredible epic feel to it. But, you know, the story's nothing to write home about. You know, you could pretty much guess that things were going wrong as soon as everything started trying to kill you. Graphically, you know, it was good. I wouldn't say that it's quite up to the level that, like, other things in the genre, like Neo or Dark Souls 3 or Bloodborne. I don't think it measures up to them. Maybe a little closer to Bloodborne, but that had that incredible gothic style. Whereas this just feels like a giant facility or space station or something along those lines is what it feels like you're running around in. Still, the graphics aren't bad. I enjoyed them. You know, it didn't deter from the experience. You know, the graphics, I'd probably give them like a 7 or 8, so they're fair enough. Audio, I mean, there's plenty of audio logs. There's some music here and there. The sound effects are good. Like, nothing blew me away, but you know, it was good. And that's kind of the story of this game, is that there's a lot it's just good. It's not great. It's not fantastic. It's just good. The one thing that does rival on great is the customization. On the front end, it's very shallow. Basically, you have these slots in your rig that you can put mods in that give you abilities, or implants in that give you abilities, like the ability to heal more or to have more health or whatever. But you only get a new slot like every 10 levels, and the progression feels very slow. There's a few mods that will give you like more health with each level, but it's like 1 point of health, and it's really hard for it to feel like it matters at all. Towards the end of the game, things really ramp up and they spike up quickly. Like, you know, if there's a new game plus for this, which I think I've heard that there is, I could see that being a much more intriguing experience, although the build that we came up with at the end there, where we had just endless amounts of health and stamina and ability to heal ourselves, you know, it kind of nullifies a lot of what's going on here. So, you know, the customization is pretty good. The combat itself is pretty good. My one huge complaint I have is that I felt like the heal button was awfully non-responsive. You, of course, can't use it when you're in the middle of an action, but there was a lot of times where I was relying on a split-second trigger. I press the button and expect to be healed, and it didn't happen, and I die. And that happened not just once or twice. It probably happened 10 times, 15 times, maybe even 20. I died, and I died a lot in this game. The interesting thing about this game is it's not a huge game the way that the Souls games or Neo are. You know, I would say it probably weighs in time-wise at a third to half of those. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with putting out a good 30 to 40-hour game, which is what this is. It's got a limited number of areas, but they still take quite a while to explore out. The game relies on you having to backtrack a little more heavily, and to you know, you're gonna have to backtrack, revisit areas. There's gonna be new enemies. There's gonna be some quests to do. You don't have to revisit it a lot, but I felt like to find everything towards the end, I revisited pretty much almost every area of the game, barring just a couple of them. So, also, you know, outside of being a smaller game, you know, most other games in the genre are known for having a lot of bosses. And this one is pretty much a lightweight at having only 5 real boss fights, which is pretty pitiful. Now, they make up for it because they basically set out to make the trash some of the hardest trash ever in a game. Whereas basically in every area, almost every enemy has a shot to kill you. Some of them are a little weaker, but overall, I felt like every area I was struggling to make progression, and I had to so heavily edit these videos just to make it watchable for you guys. That it was ridiculous. Eventually you get there, though. I mean, as you level up and, you know, you become more powerful and you learn the ins and outs of how they attack, and it becomes a little bit more bearable and tolerable. But that trash is so painful, I really hesitate to think that I would ever play this again. Just because it's not as fun when every single enemy is just coming at you fast and furious. And, you know, it's doable, and that build we came up at the end, it makes me a little tempted. But anyway, so, you know, the gameplay, I think, is the strongest element. You know, the having to survive, the having to dash and dodge. I really felt like I never ended up using the block mechanic that's in the game. It just didn't feel very powerful. It felt kind of weak, and it felt a lot easier to dodge and create this build where I could just dodge as much as I want rather than trying to block, because they ask you to block high and block low, and and it all has to be timed perfectly. So in the end of the day, The Surge is a game that's good, not great. I'm going to give the game a 75%, I think. It might err a little higher than that, but, you know, the fact that it's shorter, there's a lot less content. The difficulty of the trash mobs basically was made to, I think, elongate the game. Elongate, not elongate. And there were a number of things that frustrated me with the design. There was a couple of points where when you would auto-target things, and then like, it would make it very hard to see where you're going, of course, and I fell down an elevator. I was still alive, but the things at the bottom of the elevator killed me because I was still focused on something that was, you know, 300 feet away, and I had a very hard time acquiring and unacquiring targets. And that button was extremely frustrating, having to push in the right thumbstick. Anytime I was trying to not target something because I was just trying to sprint past it, I felt like I had to mash the button several times and often stop my character to do it because it just wasn't working. And your character has to be facing a target in order to use it, and even then sometimes it wouldn't pick them up. So between that and the heal button being unresponsive at times, a great deal of frustration came there. You know, ultimately this is forgivable because the game is pretty well made otherwise. The combat systems are good, and, you know, the other thing I guess that frustrated me was a number of the weapons didn't really feel very fun to, especially early on. You find a bunch of weapons, but they feel like clunky, and you feel like, I don't know, it's like you're drunk trying to swing this big thing around, and I wasn't a fan of many of the weapons. I ended up just sticking with like one of my first weapons I found and thinking that was the best thing I found. There was a couple others. No, actually, no, we did find a new one-hander, but basically the same idea. So anyway, despite the fact that I had some frustrating times with it, if you're a fan of the Dark Souls series, this is something you should pick up and play. And I preface that you need to be somebody who enjoys the Dark Souls series to enjoy this. I don't think you're going to, like, if you've never played Dark Souls, just play Dark Souls instead, because the Dark Souls series is better than the Surge is. Additionally, I think that this is going to be even more frustrating than a Souls game is for somebody, and this is not a great entry point into the genre. Whereas while Souls is extremely punishing, I feel like that does a better job of introducing you and, I don't know, being a veteran of this kind of game, I still heavily struggled with it up until the end when we figured out some good things. So, anyway, we're going to end our video there because we're running a little long. I hope you guys enjoyed everything. Please give us a thumbs up. I really appreciate your guys' support. We've been getting a lot more views and subscriptions lately, and would just love for that to continue. It'll help us get more recognition on YouTube, people to find us, and give us more ability to put out more videos for you guys. Also, if you leave us a comment, let us know what you think of this game, or if there's any other games you'd like to see coming up. We're kind of hitting a lull in the year, so if there's something you'd like to request, I'd be willing to consider it if I get some demand for something. So, and I'll get back to you guys. So please leave us a comment. Let us know what's going on. And lastly, above all, please subscribe to the channel, because this is the last video in our series here. So we don't want to lose you. So make sure you hit the subscribe button so you keep up with all the videos and projects that we have coming up. Until next time, this is Savage Sasquatch, and I am out of here.